Free to tell her story, Coulthurst said she barely paused to take a breath.
She just started at the beginning of her childhood and kept going, and it was obviously something she had been wanting to talk about for a long time.
The first tape is so important because it's almost like listening to a prisoner who's been inside this institution, inside this cell for 10 years, just speaking into a microphone and almost smuggling the tape out and tell the world.
For the first time, you'll be able to hear it all for yourself when we come back. The stakes were high in May of '91 as a little tape recorder began to roll in Diana's living room. Her friend James Coulthurst sat across from her in what would be the first of 6 recording sessions. This is a photograph he took of one of them. With a list of questions in hand, Coulthurst started with her childhood.
Any things that stand out, particularly in your childhood?
No. I mean, it was a very unhappy childhood. Parents were busy sorting themselves out.
Lady Diana Frances Spencer was born in 1961 into one of the oldest aristocratic families in Britain. Althorpe, the family estate, was in turmoil. When Diana was 6, her mother ran off with another man. The divorce was vicious.
I remember seeing my father slap my mother across the face, and I was hiding behind the door, and she was crying. And I remember Mummy cried an awful lot.
Diana distracted herself at boarding school, mostly with athletics. She admits she was no scholar, though there were a few subjects she liked.
History fascinated me, Jews and Stuarts, and all that, adored that. But I never anticipated I'd end up in the books.
Were you popular as a pupil?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you got on all right?
Adored them.
You didn't shout out answers and things like that?
No. Probably because I didn't think I knew them.
As for romance, well, she was more interested in romance novels. She was saving herself for the man she would marry.
All my friends had boyfriends, but not me, because I knew somehow I had to keep myself very tidy for whatever was coming my way.
In November of 1977, when Diana was 16, a royal visitor arrived at Althorpe, and the house was abuzz. Her sister Sarah had brought a young man home, none other than Prince Charles. Royal biographer Penny Junor.
In his late 20s, Prince Charles was a great catch. He was heir to the throne, he would be king, and he was a glamorous figure. He was regarded as an action man. He was always seen in one uniform or another, doing daring and dangerous things.
But Sarah's little sister wasn't all that impressed.
First impact was, God, what a sad man. He came with his Labrador, and my sister was all over him like it was a bad rash. I thought, God, he must really hate that. And I kept out of the way. I remember being fat, podgy, non-makeup, unsmart lady, but I made a lot of noise, and he liked that.
Neither of the Spencer girls would hold the prince's interest for long. Charles was something of a playboy then, traveling the world, not exactly ready to settle down. Diana, meanwhile, moved to London, to an expensive Kensington apartment she shared with a few girlfriends. She signed on to work as a kindergarten teacher. It was one of the happiest times in her life.
It was nice being fat with girls, and I loved that. It was great, laughed my head off there.
But life was about to get complicated. Just after she turned 18, Diana met Prince Charles again at a friend's house. This time, the prince, now 30, and under great pressure to find a proper wife, took a more active interest in her.
Her breeding was perfect, her status was perfect. He went out with all sorts of very glamorous and sophisticated women, and here was a woman, a girl, who was very fresh and naive and sweet and funny, and she flattered, and sweet and funny, and she flattered him.
They began dating, and after 2 months, Charles invited Diana to join him for Scotland's Braemar Games. It would be her first royal event. She would stay at Balmoral Castle, an official residence of the Queen.
Yes, that was great. I was terrified. Well, I mean, I never stayed in Balmoral before, but wanted to get it right.
That visit to Balmoral was a milestone for another reason. It's where the paparazzi first picked up the scent. Her life would never again be her own. The press began to follow her everywhere, even spying on her through her apartment windows.
People did not understand. They had binoculars on me the whole time. They hired the opposite flat, looked into my bedroom. I cried like a baby in the four walls. I just couldn't cope with it.
But the reporters refused to back off.
Any announcements of your marriage in the near future, can you tell me?
They knew Diana was the one. She knew it
Is there any
too.
possibility?
I'm not going to say anything, please.
Right, but Prince Charles did give us a hint himself. He said we wouldn't have to wait too long.
On Friday, February 6th, 1981, after 7 months of courtship, Prince Charles invited Diana to Windsor Castle. He told her he had something to ask.
So he said, will you marry me? And I laughed. I remember thinking, you know, this is a joke. So I said, yeah, okay, and laughed. And he was deadly serious. He said, you do realise this one day you'll be queen? And a voice said to me inside, you won't be queen, but you'll have a tough role. So I thought to myself, okay. So I said yes.
The night before the official announcement, Diana said goodbye to her flatmates.
Champagne flew pretty quick.
And moved in with the royal family to start preparing for the wedding. A door closed on her old life forever.
I left my flat for the last time, and suddenly I had a policeman. And my policeman the night before the engagement had said to me, I just want you to know that this is your last night of freedom ever in the rest of your life, so make the most of it. And it was like a sword went in my heart.
But she was all smiles the next day, February 24th, 1981, as the couple announced their engagement from Buckingham Palace.
Can you find the words to sum up how you feel today, both of you?
And proclaimed their love for each other.
That's sort of weird, isn't it? Really?
Sort of.
Just delighted and happy. And I'm amazed that she's been brave enough to take me on.
And I suppose in love?
Of course. Whatever in love means.
Whatever did he mean by that?
Prince Charles has always been too honest for his own good. He does say the most unfortunate things at times.
No one was more confused than Diana. She just returned from a 3-week trip to Australia, where she hadn't spoken to her new fiancé even once.
Must have been an agonizing 3 weeks. Did you speak at all? I mean, the phone lines must have been pretty busy between here and Australia.
Yes, we tried, but it was quite difficult because I think there was a certain amount of press interest there, although they never actually found you, did they?
No. It was a complete disaster because I pined for him, but he never rang me up.
I said, can I speak? And they said, no, we're not taking any calls. So I said, well, is the Prince of Wales speaking? How do I know it's the Prince of Wales came back with a reply?
I come back from Australia, someone knocked on my door with a bunch of flowers, and I knew that they hadn't come from Charles because there was no note. It was just somebody being very tactful in the office.
What's more, as the world became obsessed with the new royal couple, Diana suspected Charles was obsessed with another woman. Camilla Parker Bowles, a former lover of the prince, was married to one of his close friends, but Diana still noticed sparks between them.
I once heard him on the telephone in his bar, on his hand and saying, whatever happens, I'll always love you. And I told him I'd listened to the door. We had a filthy row.
When reporters saw Diana cry as Charles left for an official trip, they thought she was missing him already. But the secret tapes reveal her heart was aching about something else.